The Brandon Peters Show may contain explicit language and detailed plot points. For more information on the show, stay tuned to the end of the episode. And now, here's Brandon.
Greetings again, boils and ghouls, as the Brandon Peters Spook Show continues its carousel of horror through the first season of Tales from the Crypt. Joining me today for our final tale in the first season of Tales from the Crypt collection completed, the voice of PopCon and from Don't Flinch, the podcast, Michelle Suter-Shoemaker.
Hi, everyone.
Oh, welcome back, Michelle.
Thanks for having me.
Been a minute.
It has.
It's still the same calendar year. Still the same calendar year.
True.
You were on the very popular 90s soundtrack songs episode. People very much loved that episode.
That was fun.
And you're back. And, considering, all things considering, we're doing anthology horror with Tales from the Crypt. You are the horror host for a podcast venture that you and myself and Mr. Brad Shoemaker are part of called Don't Flinch. It's anthology horror and audio that someday, somehow, we talk about it a lot. We have a pilot. We have things. There's art now.
Yes.
There's a picture of you. So it's fitting, right?
Yes.
Anthology horror. Speaking of like Tales from the Crypt, as we've been doing with this, everybody kind of like, what was Tales from the Crypt to you growing up? We're of the same generation, like the same age. So where was it on your radar? How did it come to you? Were you into it back then?
Well, when you first came to me to talk about it,
Mm-hmm.
and I watched the episode, I realized that the first episode came out in, what was it?
89.
89.
Mm-hmm.
And I was 6 years old. And I was like, by the time I finally watched it, I was probably 12, 13 for the first time when we finally had cable, because we never had cable growing up.
When you had to have premium cable to have HBO
yes,
too. So you're like,
yes. I think I watched it like once at my grandparents' house because they had cable and we were staying over late one night. But other than that, I didn't really get into it until later in the seasons, I guess, basically.
Yeah, there's a syndication. It's funny, like the same. Now that we're at the end of this, like culmination, and actually, this recording is the final recording. I recorded the others in some scattered order, so I have a feeling for you listeners, you've been listening to me repeat things, have the same conversations, say factoids, add on to factoids early on, and then not say so much about them. It's a fun mess. The first one was the first one recorded, and the last one was the last one recorded. Fun facts. Nice. But looking back, I feel like everybody I've talked to of the 6 guests I've had, I don't think anybody had HBO. We all knew of Tales from the Crypt. We wanted to watch it. It was always seeing it at someone else's house.
Yep.
Or when it came to syndication, or there's the VHSs that they put out to rent and stuff, or later on down the road, but you always wanted to see it. It's kind of weird that did the people who didn't want to watch Tales from the Crypt, they were the ones who had HBO, or did they just not care, or they weren't into it? It's funny because it's like, no, I didn't have HBO. I didn't have HBO. I didn't have HBO. I saw it here. I was later in college when it's so funny.
Right.
And I believe my guess we're all from around the same age range, which would have been the ones that were addicted to like wanting to know about Tales from the Crypt. We were the ones that were like, hey, look, here's a Crypt Keeper cartoon. Blah blah blah. So there was that, but it's very interesting. Nobody had HBO. We had cable, but you had to pay. And you had the free preview weekends, but
right. Yeah.
Crazy.
It's funny. It's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. And now a lot of people have HBO.
Sense.
Now,
exactly.
I think more people probably have HBO now than ever with HBO Max and a lot of the AT&T free service and stuff like that. Though As I say, I'm not sponsored by HBO Max here, even though I mention a lot. It is my favorite streaming service. Even though I have it for free through AT&T, I would pay for it, which is funny because Tales from Crypt, not there. Not on anything. I have a DVD set. You can find them on YouTube.
Why is that, by the
I
way?
have no idea. I wonder. I have to wonder
Curious.
if rights went somewhere, and there's so much talent involved with this that writing the checks for royalties is a pain. But if they put it on DVD, I have to imagine it's easier to get like the streaming stuff sorted out. Like it'd be like a syndication thing, like TV, rather
Right.
as opposed to like the DVD. The DVD will always come. That's where they have to start taking out like musical cues and stuff when it comes to DVD. But when it comes to like syndicated broadcasting or streaming, they can usually, I think, keep it. But yeah, it's really odd. You think, wait, HBO Max, when first thing, oh, Tales from Crypt are all on here. Nope. Like maybe they remastered them HD for this. Nope. It's not even. I never made it to Blu-ray either. So
wasn't it on Amazon at one point?
Was it? I think it has come to some, but currently it is nowhere to be found.
Like nowhere to be found. Yeah.
Man, that Crypt Keeper needs to be on all the time, and they need to fix, because like my DVD, as I've mentioned, the intro is just the intro for the show is the intro to the DVD, and then when you click the episode, it just starts. I'm like, no, I want to watch the intro every time I watch.
Exactly.
The show.
It's important to the show to have to be able to watch the intro.
Right. I'm like and then want to jump out and go, ah, damn.
Exactly.
I want that. But no. So yeah. But I brought you on for the final one. Collection completed as we complete this. The director is Mary Lambert, who you'll know, she's a prolific music video director. I believe I've done one of her videos on the show before already, but most notably Pet Sematary 1 and Pet Sematary 2. And she's done lots of TV lately in her career. Very, very well known. She's films has come and gone. Nothing really as big as Pet Sematary 2 went to. She did that movie, The In Crowd, which I somehow remember from back in the day.
Yeah.
Which was like sold as like it's maybe a horror film, but it's not. It's kind of just like shitty teen.
Exactly. It seemed more like I Know What You Did Last Summer / I don't know. It was just nothing like what I've seen her do before.
And it's a wonder if the script, they're like, oh, we have to, like, if she's on board, she's directing this one. It's got pets and taxidermy, like,
right.
Okay.
There's
like,
a lot of that.
Really fitting that she went with, it was this one that she went with. But it's written by three people, A. Whitney Brown, Battle Davis, and Randolph Davis. And so these guys, A. Whitney Brown was a prolific Saturday Night Live writer for many years and Daily Show writer for many years. Battle Davis must have got the hookup from Richard Donner, who is a producer on the show, because this is his only writing credit ever. And he was an editor on Lethal Weapon 3. So Richard Donner directs that. Maybe he's like, yeah, sure, you can write one of these. But he also he edited Frankie and Johnny, Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, The Ninth Configuration, and was assistant editor on Glory, The Natural, and Heaven Can Wait. So he's mainly an editor. This is a stab at writing. It was probably a favor, but there's three people on this, so I don't know how that came about. Randolph Davis, the last one, his only other notable writing credit, not many writing credits, Police Academy Mission to Moscow, which is nobody's favorite Police Academy movie.
That's funny.
Yes. Yeah, I looked, I was like, oh, jeez. I guess we have
random
comedy writers with an editor. Comedy with an editor. But yeah, police. What'd you write? I had Tales from the Crypt episode. Anything else? Nope. Nope. Big Police Academy fan. You write any of them? Nope. Nope. But yeah, those are a writing tree. Like, I think all of them had just a single writer up to this point. So this one maybe had rewrites. Maybe the editor wrote it and they needed comedy punched into it. So they got these other two guys who were probably maybe hanging around each other at the time to punch it up. I don't know.
Right.
That's my guess.
Well, I mean,
I'm projecting this onto
it. it makes sense. I mean, watching both of the Pet Cemeteries, there's not really any comedy in it at all whatsoever. So you get like that with the episode that we're going to be talking about. You don't get any, well, real comedy. I find it comical to watch it now, but there's no like comedy in it.
Right.
I don't know.
True. But this it features an uptight elderly man, played by Emmett Walsh, and he retires and soon discovers his wife, played by Audra Lindley's obsession with adopting animals into their home, leading him to use the animals for a hobby of his own. And I'll tell you what, after this episode, I need to make sure I'm doing less podcasting, paying more attention to my wife. I'll tell you that.
I'm gonna be honest, like watching the episode the entire time, I thought this guy was gonna have a heart attack at any second.
Yeah.
I mean, like the anger.
Oh yeah.
The anxiety, whatever he was going through, like.
Yeah.
I tended to focus on that because I was like, is he gonna like just drop dead in
like for real in real life? Is he gonna like? Yeah.
Yes, that's what it felt like.
Yeah, we went intense. It's for the comedic effect, but yeah, he drives it home with it. And the crazy thing about this is like these two who are married, there's an 18-year age difference in them. Like Emmett Walsh is 18 years younger than her, though they look like 2 years, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
That's pretty.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's I noted in there. I was like, whoa, she's much older than him. But hey, cool on that. But he's a retired guy. So like the whole thing of this is like he's one of those planned for the future. Like he's been working his ass off, ignoring everything, or just like, I'm done because he works all day. And now he's going to live his life out, spend all the time with his wife. But it's like, but not yet. I gotta do this first. I gotta do like in the meantime, his wife has just taken animals and collected animals. Like she's a whole house full of all sorts of animals. So if you like animals, watch all but like the end of this movie.
Right. Well, my big thing with watching it is how did he not know that she was collecting it? Because apparently the entire neighborhood knew that she was collecting all these animals like crazy and was eccentric and talking to them like all the time. Like, how did he not recognize it?
That's true. Ignorant to it? That it like did he work like a third shift or
was it like I don't know. He immediately came home, sat down in his chair, watching TV and fell asleep, and then immediately got up and did the same routine again. Like what?
As I've said with a lot of these episodes, these were written for us not just to take it, enjoy it for 20 minutes and go and not even think again. Because like all of these have these like high concept things that the minute we go back a couple layers, it's like, wait a minute. But it's like, nope. They want us to quick punch. They want like Taxi Cab Confessions or Red Shoe Diaries to air right after, and we forget about it. And we just enjoyed what we had while we had it. It's like high comedy. It's not taking itself seriously. Just it is what it is, and that's why we have to run. Because I agree with you. Like it's like what? But all these have been like, hey, just short window. This happens.
Right.
How was it while it happened? You only need to care about this window of time. But yeah, like how would he not notice? Because I mean, he's got this retirement party, surprise party in the kitchen, which is a table full of cats and dogs.
I loved it. That was awesome.
That was good. And she's really good with the animals too. I really buy her love and adoration towards them.
But of course, okay. So when he comes home from the retirement party after she slams the door in his face.
Yeah.
And then you see the golden like hammer.
The hammer. Yeah. He got a hammer for his retirement. Yeah.
I'm not going to say what happens yet, but did you not immediately know? Or, I mean, I don't know how, if you've seen it before, because I don't remember ever seeing this one before, but I immediately knew what was going to happen in the end.
You do the hammer would come into play.
Oh
like
yeah,
the Chekhov's hammer. Yeah. Well, They make a point to like really point out the hammer. It's either it's gonna come back and get him, or it's just gonna be his mode of death on everything.
Yes.
So like, one of the two. So yeah, like actually the first time I went back through this, I saw the hammer, and then when she picked up in the end, I'm like, oh, I should have been smarter than this because I really. She picked it up and
Mhm.
boom to get at him. But yeah, like he's got this built up aggression of like how he was sacrificing their relationship almost for this retirement, this great retirement moment, which I'm more of a live in the now person. I do think, prepare for the future, but don't prepare too hard for a future that's not guaranteed.
Exactly.
As you get
Agreed.
older, you find out it's not
Yep.
not always guaranteed. And it's basically a 2-person show, except for Roy, the neighbor, who comes to bounce off, to give them someone else to bounce off of time to time. And he's your typical like retirement home, like 90s sitcom retirement home person, or retire. He's got this tracksuit thing on, and
Yep.
he's just a silly guy that's there to divulge information from one another about the other if they don't know. But the wife, she does like these crazy, like she does like pet. She treats him like a pet. Like she gives him dog food. That's an accident, and she named a dog after him. He coughs up, and she's like, "You have a hairball?" And
the brownie thing where she puts his aspirin in the brownie.
Yes, that's one of my favorite parts. She puts the aspirin.
That's one of my favorite parts.
I was like, I tend to use peanut butter on a spoon, but yeah, you got it.
Right.
But it was a dog. You shouldn't give him a brownie because what kind of chocolate did you use in that, ma'am? Or was she trying to?
Ooh.
Maybe she thought with the dog and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's a moment where they decide like to have like, he decides he needs to confront her or something, and they have the scene where they're having like the talk about things. Right. But she's talking to a cat.
She's talking to the cat.
Brilliant. I thought it was funny. And then he's like watching through back when kitchens had the little saloon door things, like, hey. And he's like, what in the that's
what in the world is happening?
Oh, it's too funny.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. They think about directed, like how many animals on set Mary Lambert's having to like wrangle and get like, how long did this take to shoot? Like
exactly
all that. I mean, you could have, Stars of Tomorrow pet services, but I mean, they are all going to behave like perfect angels all on the set.
And how did they get all those animals to sit at that table for the retirement party?
Like
they were all like sitting there around with hats
proper.
On. Like
and they looked at it. They all did the look like, oh, he's not coming. Oh,
yeah. Like, how do you do that?
It's amazing. Oh, I've only been like a movie set with one animal, but like we didn't shoot with it that day, so I didn't get to see that in action. It was there in case we got ahead of time, but we didn't. But we didn't get to shoot. I didn't get to see the animal in process, but they're really protective of like animals. Like I think they even have, I don't know if they have insect trainers, but they have insect specialists, like every little degree of specialist of because if you need to use like a tarantula or anything on like a film set, you have to have like an expert that knows how to handle that stuff. There's what else? The bathtub, the fish.
Oh, I love that. Laugh. That was hysterical. As soon as he closes the door and she has the fish thing, I'm like, oh God, he's gonna get in that shower and there's gonna be all the koi fish in there.
Oh yeah.
And funnily enough, he's falling into the koi fish pond.
Right.
She keeps them in a tank in the house, which makes no sense.
No. So it's also oddly enough the second time on this show since July that I've had something that featured fish in a bathtub shower thing, because I did a movie called Remote Control during the World Film History Project, and that featured fish being in a bathtub, full bathtub. So it's a recurring theme now on this show. Find the next fish in the tub. Yeah, so he ends up going crazy. He has the taxidermy. He starts killing the animals, taxidermy, and there's the bulldog that goes missing. Real creepy. She finds it in the yard and his lights glow, and he's got like a remote control for it. And he says, "Hey, you love animals. Now I can learn to love them too. Good animals are meant to be seen and not heard." So that's his compromise. Like,
he should have stuck to gardening.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So what she does is she goes to the basement, and it's just this house of animal death horrors that just,
And
haunting.
she only cares about oddly enough, she only cares about the one cat that came in the night of the retirement party. I can't remember the name. Moo.
Yeah. I think Moo, yeah. There were so many animal
there
names.
There were so many. I know.
I remember Jonas because it was his name.
Right, the bulldog.
Right.
But no, it was Moo, the one that came in right before she slammed the door in his face for his retirement party. And that was the only one. She was like, "Don't touch my Moo," and she was like screaming, searching the house for the Moo before she found all the dead taxidermied animals.
Yeah.
In the basement.
Yeah, and this is where she kills him with the hammer to stop it, and she ends up stuffing him, and the neighbor comes over to freak out. She's like, "It's nice to have a man around the house to take care of. He's much happier. He really is." And you see his face, and he's like stitched up. And the stuff Jonas is one of the most like iconic imagery from Tales from the Crypt too. If you look it up, it'll probably come up without even typing this episode. Just his look on his face and the weird thing, and yeah, that's where it comes up. And I did want to note a great dad joke thing. Crypt Keeper has a pet named Peeves. Thought that was
nice.
That was good on that, one of his better ones. But yeah, that's how they wrap it up. They wrapped it up with a lighthearted one to go through. After the previous one was this dark sexual ghost story of the past, like things like that. They went like they started with this I don't know, the execution, or the executioner one. Then they went to a Christmas slasher, kind of a weird carny one, and then sex stuff, funny. But I honestly think they, after production, they picked the order they went into, because it kind of aired in an odd sort of order, but that's how they went. But yeah, that was the first season of Tales from the Crypt, which I enjoyed going through very much. I still think probably my favorite one was this Killer Santa one, to be honest. Yeah, that one's in my wheelhouse. The Santa slashers.
I need to go and watch that one.
Yeah, that's
sure.
That's a really cool one. Definitely one. It's gonna be in my Christmas movie rotation, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely.
Is it like a Krampus type, like?
No, it's a twist. Like it's I don't want to spoil too many things for you, but it starts one way, goes this way, and then it's just a bunch of fun.
Yeah.
I really liked it from Robert Zemeckis, who of course did Back to the Future and Forrest Gump and all those movies, and he's one of the producers on the show. So yeah, there we go. But that'll end this morbid tale and all the morbid tales from season 1. So Michelle, thank you for returning here to discuss some Tales from the Crypt and close us all out.
All right. Thank you for having me. It's been a blast. Yeah.
Where can people keep up with you if they'd like?
Hold on. Right now, don'tflinchpodcast.com. And popcorn.us.
Popcorn.us. So all good. And I want to thank once again Jessica Alsman, Katie Rife, Aaron Newworth, Pacing Pete, and Danielle Palvarez, in addition to Michelle, for joining me for this.
Thanks for having me. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. Oh, and I'm on Twitter and Instagram at Brandon4KUHD, written work at whiteandblue.com. Next week on the show, we'll have the Out and Out with Aaron and Abe Halloween 2018 commentary for you, and some old space show, probably 4K Blues Day, all that jazz. So working on some cool things for November. So stick around, enjoy that next week. And until then, stay film positive.
Thank you for listening. The Brandon Peters Show is a Creative Zombie Studios production. Produced by Brad Shoemaker and Brandon Peters. Written and edited by Brandon Peters. Announcer vocals by Jessica Alsman. Theme song by Metavari. Web design and show art by Brad Shoemaker with Brandon Peters. All music and clips featured in the episode are property of their respective studios, and no infringement is intended. Additional information on this and other episodes at BrandonPetersShow.com. For any inquiries, press opportunities, or sponsorship, contact mail at BrandonPetersShow.com. show is available on Apple Music, Spotify, or anywhere podcasts are found.